Hey folks, this is King of Tunes, and I'm back for another video. Cause in my other video I said I was gonna upload another video, some day this week, this Thanksgiving break. So, well, today I'm gonna talk about the evolution of Cartoon Network, and this is a rant, basically a rant of Cartoon Network. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about the history of Cartoon Network and how it evolutionized itself. So, where can I start off at? So, in 1992, Cartoon Network was launched. Well, in 1992, and they aired nothing but classic cartoons like MGM shorts and these Looney Tunes shorts and Hanna-Barbera classics, all that good jazz. And it reached up to its full potential where they can make their own cartoons, make their own cartoons. And they had new animators that came over there, and one of the first animators to that came to the network was Craig McCracken, and that creator that created Fairly Odd Parents, and what's his name? Seth MacFarlane, the one who created Family Guy and Cleveland Show and all that. Yeah, but Family Guy is trash. But I'll talk about that in another video. So, Family Guy is trash now. I mean, it used to be a good show, but now it's just trash. Nobody likes Family Guy no more. Even I don't. Along with The Simpsons, but I'll talk about that in the other video. So let's get back to the evolution of Cartoon Network. They first started off airing classic cartoons from the 1950s to 1960s, 1970s and all that. And they reached up to their full potential where they could make their own cartoons, and they made some good ones. The first one was Dexter's Laboratory, and then came Cow and Chicken and the Powerpuff Girls. And basically Dexter's Laboratory was the first one to get popular, for what a cartoon show. And cause if you remember What a Cartoon Show, well, I was born in the early 2000s, so I wasn't around when that was going, because that was back in the 90s. So back in the mid 90s. But Cartoon Network, they got pretty popular because of their shows, and they were the best place for cartoons around that time. And the reason why they were the best place for cartoons is because they air cartoons 24 hours, and until Adult Swim came. Well, Adult Swim airs cartoons, but it's for adults. So but they used a 24-hour channel where they just air cartoons 24 hours, and they really were the best place for cartoons. And then in the first era that they had, the first Cartoon Network era that they had was the checkerboard era, which featured which matched the checkerboard design that they had on the logo. So in 1998, That's when they came out with, I think it was like 1997 was the Powerhouse era. Um, uh, what else should I say about Cartoon Network? Yeah, but they aired. Yeah, they aired the Powerhouse era, and then the Powerhouse era was the second era, and so that's my favorite that's my favorite era from Cartoon Network, and like when the Powerhouse era ended, well, actually, okay, like but the shows that they aired on the Powerhouse era was basically like Time Squad. The show Time Squad used to be on Nickelodeon, but then it went over to Cartoon Network. Samurai Jack, like Courage the Cowardly Dog, that was like late '90s. And then like Samurai Jack was the early 2000s. What else? Dang it. What other shows were airing during the Powerhouse era? They came out. Codename Kids Next Door. Yeah, they came out in the Powerhouse era of Cartoon Network. What else? Yeah, what else? What else? I know there's oh yeah, Ed and Eddie. Ed and Eddie came out during the Powerhouse era. I think that's all I can think of. Now let's move on. So in 2004, that's when the Powerhouse era ended in 2004, and Cartoon Network came out with a new era. It was called Cartoon Network City era. And yeah, this is another one of my favorites. CN. Well, actually, the CN City era is the one that I grew up with, and that one is my favorite. And the reason why that one is my favorite is because you get these cartoon characters reacting with each other, and reacting with each other like outside of the city, like everywhere they go. It's pretty fun. And that's the era that Cartoon Network needs to bring back, because it has that feel good feeling, cartoon characters reacting with each other from other shows that was on Cartoon Network, and it was just a good time to be alive. Yeah, yeah, it was a good time for Cartoon Network. Yeah, but the shows that came on in that era was Camp Lazlo, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. What else? What was that show called? No, I mean, dang it. Dang, I lost it. Man, oh, My Gym Partner's a Monkey. I mean, that show was alright, but, I mean, it wasn't that good. But, yeah. But I remember I used to watch, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Ed, Edd n Eddy, all those great shows, Johnny Bravo. I remember they used to show reruns of Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory. I remember they used to show all the old Cartoon Network originals. So yeah, yeah, so, when the CN City era ended, there was another era called, wait, I forgot what it was called, but it was, I remember they used to sing this song, it was, dang it, what was it called? But it was something invented. Oh, whoa, something like that. It was a bad era for Cartoon Network, and this was the beginning of the downfall of Cartoon Network, and it started like in 2007, and that's when Stuart Snyder was president. And I think when Jim Staples or whatever his name is, forgot his name, like was president during like the early 2000s, and he got out of like office. He got out of office for like he wasn't no longer a CEO of Cartoon Network because of like the Boston what was it? But it had something to do with the show Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Yeah, so that's why wherever his name is had to get out of like office. He was no longer CEO of Cartoon Network, and sooner or later, Stuart Snyder took over, and he was CEO of Cartoon Network. And boy, this was the beginning of the dark ages of Cartoon Network. So, So it began as like like what I said earlier, like it was like something invented, something like that. But it was the beginning of like the dark ages of Cartoon Network, and man, I think it was called like the Yes era or something. I don't know, but like the shows that came out in this era was like Chowder, The Miss Meta Adventures of Flapjack, Benton, what was it, Alien Force? Yeah, it was Alien Force. And yeah, so yeah, that was the beginning of the Dark Ages. So let's move on. So 2008. Well, around about 2008, there was a new era that was the Noobs era. And it featured these little mannequin things, these mini mannequin like things that move around and then like throw paintballs at each other and like form as cartoon characters from like the shows that was on Cartoon Network. And yeah, that was the era. And the shows that I had a pretty good mix of like shows from from the past, of like old shows that aired on Cartoon Network and the new ones. But then dun 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 dun, the live action shows came on Cartoon Network. And this block was called CN Real. Freaking CN Real. Woo, this was really the dark ages of Cartoon Network. CN Real aired live action shows of live action shows. And they're pretty horrible. They show like game shows and just to live action shows. Pretty terrible. Stuart Snyder, why you have to do this? But this era ended. But anyway, back to like the Noobs era, the CN Real. This was just horrible. And then in 2010, it was the end of the Noobs era. And then a new era came. And this was even worse. All of you people may have known this era. And it's still recent. This, folks, is called the freaking Check It era. The freaking Check It era. Listen. Whew. Like, I wasn't a fan of this era, like even I mean since day one. I wasn't a fan of this era since day one. This era was just horrible. Like I couldn't even stand it. And then they still aired the live action shows. Yeah, they were still airing the live action shows. And and pretty bad. Still pretty bad. Like there were some good shows, like Adventure Time came out in a regular show along with Mad. Nah, they canceled that show early. Does any of you remember that show Mad? I mean, some of the sketch comedy jokes were like all were like some of them were good and like most of them were just stupid, outrageous, bro. Like outrageously stupid. Let's see. Yeah, but the shows in that era was like the Looney Tunes show and what is it? Yeah, but that's it for that era. Now let's move on to the Check It 4.0 era. Now, so the Check It 4.0 era, well, it's basically the same thing, but in a different, let's say, color scheme. So yeah, like the shows that aired around this time. Well, first of all, let me say it by like starting with this. Like it had a like different color scheme. It was like pink, blue, and some other color. But it's still the same era. And like the shows that like came out of that era was like Steven Universe, We Bare Bears, and yeah, Teen Titans Go. And you know the rest. Pretty much everybody knows the recent Cartoon Network now. It's horrible. Same thing as the Check It era. Oh my gosh! If it wasn't for Stuart Snyder, this wouldn't happen. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe.